Very good morning, students. Today we are going to start your chapter 2, sectors of the Indian economy. So, what are the different sectors in an economy, or we are specifically talking about India? If you see the page, very top of the page, you see women. It is drawn above what is written chapter 2 sectors. Above it drawn some 3 women. They are actually, they seem to be working on fields. This is depicting the agriculture sector. Then mines are shown there. Mining is done in the primary sector. It comes in the agriculture also comes in the primary sector. Then some manufacturing is happening on the very right hand side. If you see, there are people with blue suit. They are manufacturing something, and this is the primary to secondary sector we are moving, which is manufacturing sector. In the middle you see a man wearing a coat and tie, and he is talking on the phone. He seems to be talking on the phone, and it is somehow depicting the communication. So it is depicting the tertiary sector. Tertiary sector is when we are talking about a sector which is supporting the primary and the secondary sector. It can be transportation, it can be communication, anything like that, like banking also. So this picture is showing us that we are moving towards your chapter, that is different sectors in the Indian economy. You seem to be having some other pictures on the very right below the sectors. A woman, she is taking a postcard or some not postcard, something. She is taking newspaper or anything like that from a person. So this is an activity which is happening. She will pay money for this. Any activity is economic activity in which money is involved. So we need to understand. In the second picture, if we see, there is a person who is taking some luggage on his head. He is a coolie, and he is doing this for money. So these are all economic activities. Actually, they are working for money. Now if you see bottom 2 pictures, and there is a picture in which bricks are being made. There is a picture in which woman is showing other women some products, clothes. So this is economic activity. There is a woman, she is in the fields, and she is collecting cotton. She is also involved in using this to sell in the market. So all this is being also related to production. The farmer is growing crops, so it is a production activities. These are producing. Some other this lady, she is not producing the clothes, but she is selling, so she is providing services, which is done in the tertiary sector. Then manufacturing, you can say, is happening in the picture in which bricks are being produced. So moving on to the next page. Now we will talk about different economic activities being done. Very left hand side you see primary sector, that is agriculture sector, also called primary sector. Here the natural goods are produced. Then there comes secondary sector, which is producing manufactured goods. known as finished goods also, or consumer goods also, different names for the same thing. Then in the tertiary sector, if you see, I already told you, transportation is being involved, and people are providing services. IT industry is also coming into it. So this is all we are talking about tertiary sector. From the pictures, moving on to your theory part, what your book says. Any activity, when we are talking about primary sector, any activity where we are using natural resources, like we say that cultivation of cotton was done in the picture. So it is cotton, mainly it is entirely depends on natural factors. Any kind of cultivation or agriculture activity, it is a natural resource, and it is entirely depending on the nature. For like rainfall or sunshine, it needs climatic conditions, so natural product is formed. Also in case of dairy, if we are talking about dairy, we are actually using animals. Animals are the natural resource we are using. We are exploiting the natural resource. This comes under the primary sector. Then mining also, because mining, we are not producing anything new, we are exploiting the natural resource. All these activities will be under the primary sector, whether it is agriculture, whether it is dairy, whether it is fishing, whether it is forestry. All these activities are primary activities. Now there is a direct connection. There is an arrow on the very left shown primary sector moving to the secondary sector. Why this process is being shown, this arrow is being shown? And what is actually a secondary sector? We already know the products it is producing. It is actually the connection is the secondary sector is using the products of the primary sector for producing finished goods or for producing the manufactured goods. Like if the cotton is there, which is produced in the primary sector, it will be used in a plant or in an industry for the manufacture of cloth. Correct? In the same way, sugar which is produced in the primary sector, it will be used by the industry. Sugar cane is used by the industry to make sugar. So also in the picture we saw the people are making bricks. They are making bricks, and they are making bricks, they can be used to make house and buildings. So the primary sector, it provides raw material to the secondary sector. So it is very important. After these two, the third category, this I already mentioned you that it supports, it helps the primary and secondary sector. This is tertiary sector. It is not producing any good. It is not manufacturing any commodity, whether natural commodity or whether a finished good or a consumer good. What it is doing actually, it is supporting the production process. How it is supporting? Now, if primary sector is providing raw material to the secondary, how it will go there? You need transportation, you need roads, you need rails. So this is important for the transfer of raw material from the primary to the secondary, and then the finished goods that are produced in the secondary sector, they are to be transferred into the markets using the tertiary sector services. So it is supporting both. Now if we want to save the products, if we want to keep the products where it will be kept? It will be kept in the godowns. So godowns are also a type of tertiary sector, comes in the category of tertiary sector. We need to communicate in the market. We are manufacturers, we want to know the demand in the market. We want to know the retailers, how much they want the finished products that we transport to them. There is a requirement of communication in this. If we want money to invest in our business as a manufacturer, we will go to the banking system. If the farmers want some money to put onto their land, to invest the money on good seeds or pesticides or fertilizers, from where do they all go and borrow money? From the banking system, which is a part of tertiary sector. In this way, tertiary sector is always supporting both the primary and the secondary sector. These services are not producing the goods at all. Okay, this must be clear. Some of these services are also there. I would also like to mention, like the services of lawyers, doctors, barbers, washermen, any other people. These are not actually directly helping in the production of goods, but they are termed as the activities which are very important, which are indirectly very important for the overall economy. Now we are also talking about information technology. It is also a service. These are becoming more and more important. When you will go forward in your chapter, move towards the other portions of your chapter, you will realize how important the tertiary sector is. Now moving on the next page. This is a table, examples of economic activities. Example is given. What does this show? You mean to understand what kind of activity it is, in which category it falls. The first one is done for you. If a farmer sells sugarcane to a sugar mill, the mill will have to shut down if it is not giving it, refuses. So example is the secondary sector being dependent on the primary sector. Next I will do for you, other two, last two you will do by yourself. Imagine what would happen to cotton cultivation if companies decide not to buy from the Indian market and import cotton they need from other countries. Indian cotton cultivation will become less profitable. Farmers may even go bankrupt if they cannot quickly switch to other crops. Cotton price will fall. So what is happening? What does this show? This example shows that the primary sector is dependent on the secondary sector. The farmers are dependent on the industry. If the industrial sector is not taking their crop, they will not be able to survive in the market. So other two you will do by yourself. I would also suggest you that you should also go through the let's work out exercise. Explain the difference between primary, secondary and tertiary using examples. This question I will give to you. Next is you will classify the occupations of the given list of people. Do by yourself this third question. And the fourth is also an activity. You can classify, students in the school are classified into primary, secondary or junior, senior. What is the criteria? Do you use full classification? Discuss. So this is an activity based. You need to do the third question, you need to do the table. Second question you will be writing in your copies. I will be providing you with the notes. Now moving on to the next page, comparing the three sectors. How would you compare the three sectors? In this, I would like to take a very important example. You will be understanding in this topic that what are the various activities you are able to understand till now. What are the different activities in the three sectors? The large number of people who are working in them to produce goods and services. So we need to calculate how much goods and services are being produced and how many people are working in this sector. This is very important to know, to compare the three sectors. We know what they are different, but we need to understand by knowing how much goods and services being produced, what is their contribution to the GDP actually, how much they are contributing each sector to the gross domestic product. GDP is the total output of goods and services in the economy. So in that quantity, how much the different sectors are contributing, and second is how many people are employed in these three sectors. So this is the way of comparing. Moving towards the paragraph under the heading of how do we count, third paragraph, very important to understand. I would read it to you. Not every good and service produced is counted. Means we have to count the final value of the goods and services when we see the contribution of different sectors. How do you understand that? A farmer, example is given, a farmer who sells wheat to a flour mill for rupees 8 per kg. So he is doing what? He sells the wheat to the flour mill for rupees 8 per kg. Mill grinds the wheat and sells the flour to a biscuit company for rupees 10 per kg. Now the biscuit company uses the flour and things such as sugar, oil to make 4 packets of biscuits. It sells the biscuits in the market to the consumer at rupees 60, 15 rupees per packet. Biscuits are final goods that reach the consumer. So you are given the value at different stages. At a stage, farmer is selling at rupees 8. Then after that, rupees 10 per kg, the mill is selling to the company. Company is selling at rupees 60. Change in the price. See the change in the price. Understand by that. Now, this example is now taken as a understanding in the next paragraph. In the next paragraph, they say, try to understand the word intermediate goods and final goods. Intermediate goods are different and final goods are different. These are the goods which are used up in the production of final goods and services. These are known as intermediate goods. The value of final goods includes the value of all the intermediate goods that are used in making the final good. This is the line 1, 2, 3, fifth line from the last paragraph on this page. Very important. Value of final goods already includes the value of all the intermediate goods that are used in the making of the final goods. Hence, the value of rupees 60 for the biscuit final good already includes the value of flour, that rupees 10. And moving on to the next page, similarly, the value of all other intermediate goods have been included. To count the value of the flour and the wheat and the separate is therefore not correct, because we are counting the value number of times, same value number of times. So final value is 60, which is including the value 10 also, and which is including the value 8 also. If we are counting 8 and if we are adding 10 and if we are adding 60, we are counting it again and again. This is not correct. The same value we are double counting, we are doing actually. So the paragraph in bold letter, the value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provide the total production of the sector for that year. So the sum of production in the three sectors give the GDP. Thus we can state that all the three sectors are contributing to the GDP. Primary also contributing, tertiary also contributing, secondary also contributing. And what is actually GDP made up of? GDP is the final value of all the goods and services, value of final goods and services produced in all the sector, in each sector during that particular year. We are talking about total production in that year actually. In a particular year, 1 year we are talking about. So this is the definition of GDP. It is very, very important for your exam point of view also. The other 2 points have been the definition of intermediate good, the definition of final goods. These are the important points from this particular topic. Now historical change in sector, we'll begin with this in the next class. Go through it, read it, and if you have queries, ask me. All right, thank you, students.